More than 10 million Americans experience domestic violence every year. Here in Ohio, more than 1,200 victims and children found shelter in emergency shelters or transitional housing provided by local domestic violence programs.
But here in Northwest Ohio, victims may have one less program to rely on if its board cannot find some type of financial help. Tatiana Cash joining us here in studio. She talked with the nonprofit about its struggles. So, Tatiana, what did they say to you?
Well, Jeff, Melissa, the nonprofit First Step Center for Domestic Services in Fostoria is in danger of closing its doors for good because they just lack funding. Before COVID, they suddenly lost their executive director of 30 years. And then the pandemic hit, and annual fundraisers and general knowledge about gaining funding were lost for a while. The current president says now this news about the money could shut them down for good, and one survivor says this can't happen.
January 25th, 2018. I told myself this morning, no more.
Dawn Peace reflects back through her journal on one of the hardest days of her life. She left her abuser of 2 years, and though 2 years isn't very long, it was long enough.
So little by little, you get control, right? There were days when I'm not going to feed you. I'm like, she's angry at me. Oh, I have all kinds of stuff.
Peace tells her story at Zion United Church of Christ, sharing how First Step supported her.
I don't know where I'd be if it weren't for them. Because, I mean, that you talk about a leap of faith. I said, okay, God, I'm going to trust you. Here we go.
The group donated hygiene readiness bags for First Step clients, and President Amy Kinney says the 35-year-old nonprofit loves all donations, but truly needs two things.
Funding, and we are in need of a website. Unfortunately, about 2 months ago, our website was hacked.
Which costs money to get fixed. Plus, Kenny says the United Way of Fostoria won't be donating the $20,000 the program relies on for funding, which is used in matching grant money.
If we don't have the monies to put forth for matching, we stand to lose up to $100,000 in grants.
She says this could shut them down for good, hurting not only Fostoria victims in need.
The Seneca, Sandusky, Wyandotte County areas, we are it.
From emergency shelter to permanent housing, court assistance to family advocacy, Kenny says First Step does so much for so many. And even though they're struggling, they're still here to help.
Absolutely. If there is a victim out there who needs us, we are open and we are serving them.
The board did discuss moving locations to potentially save some money, but they decided to vote against it. And so they plan to stay put. But if funding does not come soon, Kenny says they could be closing their doors at the end of this year. So for more information on how you can help, visit their Facebook page. That's First Step Web. Live in studio, Tatiana Cash, WTOL 11.